Hey guys, it's Super and welcome to PHP tutorial number 24. Forgive me if I'm stuttering a bit or I sound a bit monotonic, if that's a word, or monotone. I think that sentence is correct English. I don't know, but anyway, forgive me if I do sound something like that, because this is the fourth tutorial I've done in the past hour. Wow. It's taken a long time to do for 3 other tutorials, so yeah, I'm a bit sore-throated. But anyways, let's get on to the tutorial then, shall we? Today we're going to be looking at the second, apart from parameters, the second most important thing about functions, and alongside scope as well, is being able to return values from a function. So far, what we can do with functions is we can pass some values, then we can do some cool stuff inside a function. But remember how scope applies where we can't use variables from inside the function outside it? Well, what happens if we, for instance, in the calculating the total value of an order, what happens if we want to then, after that function, after we're outside the function, we want to actually use the total value somewhere else to do something, or to do a whole bunch of things? We can't at the moment because we can't use that total cost variable because that was declared inside the function, so it can't be used outside. So does PHP allow us to do this? Well, yes, again, PHP gives us a way to do this, and that way is in the form of returning variables. So let's look at this first one. We've got the P, Q, and T variables predefined. Oh, let me change that back to 5.5. There we go. Okay. And of course we've got that default parameter. And all this calculate total value function does is calculate the total value of an order and then output it or echo it out. And so when we call it, it just echoes out a value. And we can't actually say make a variable and say assign the total cost value or something like this. It would be more appropriate. We can't say then my cost is equal to total cost because the total cost variable is inside the function and it can't be used outside. So how do we do this? Well, basically we can yield values from a function. By yield I mean give a value back from where it was being called by using the return keyword, and then after the return a space, and then the value we want to yield. Okay, so now we've made another function called calculate total value 2. Same parameters and default values, and in here we do the same calculations, but rather than output the total cost, we're going to say return, and then we're going to return the total cost variable. Okay, and what that means then is that whenever we call the calculate total value 2 function, is at runtime when the page actually loads, what you'll see in the actual code, or you wouldn't actually see this, but before it renders everything, what you would see is rather than the call to the function, you'd see something like this: my cost equals and then the returned value. Okay, as opposed to my cost equals calculate total value 2 function call. Okay, in place of the calculate total value 2, you would have the value that you returned with a return statement. Okay, so that's how we can get values from inside a function back to outside the function. Okay, and now because we've declared a variable called myCost and assigned it equal to, and when you assign something equal to a function, it will immediately call that function, and then it will get the value which is returned, and then it will compile the statement into something that looks a bit like this, and it will then do execute that statement, because that's the statement it can execute. It doesn't actually execute the myCost equals calculate total value statement. What it does is it runs calculate total value, gets the returned value, and then does the statement myCost is equal to the returned value. Okay, and now we can use the myCost variable outside the function to echo it, and I've just demonstrated another use of it where we're saying where we're checking the my cost variable. If it's equal to 57.75, echo well done. Okay, and that looks about right. It should work. So let's look at the results of this then, shall we? Start up WAMP, go into the folder. First time for the original function, this one where it just echoes it out, 57.5. Then we're echoing out with the my cost variable, which is 57.5 again, and then it checks if it's 57.5, and it says well done if so, and it is. Okay. So now we could what we could even do is we could do something like this. If calculate total value to PQ, this would work as well, because again, when PHP actually looks at this, the resulting statement wouldn't be the function call. What it would actually have is returned value is equal to 57.75. Okay, that's the statement it would actually check. And if we just run this again, you can see well done is still there, because the function call returns a value. If we used this with the calculate total value, the original function, we wouldn't get anything. You see, instead we wouldn't get the well done because it doesn't return a value. So this would evaluate to naught because it doesn't return a value, and it just echoes out because that's in the what the function actually does as well. So that's the virtue of being able of returning values. You can use it wherever you would normally use a value. The only thing is, it's a dynamic value, and it can change depending on the values you supply the function with. For instance, if I change the value to the cost to 15 quid, this will no longer be. Whoops! I put variable 15. There we go. It won't echo that out. And if I put it here, actually, let's do it here instead. That's better, because that shows more of an effect. There, you get differing values, and this function call is almost like a variable, except it rather than a variable which calculates it like this, you know, so total cost like that equals calculation here, you know, whatever. It does it, and a function can take, you know, parameters and a whole bunch of stuff. So that's the diversity of functions and being able to return values. So hopefully everyone got that really easily. I felt like I explained it fairly well, hopefully. And now you guys should all be, you know, budding PHP scripters. So anyways, guys, over and out.